Ever tried painting rocks and ended up with grey lumps? Today we will fix that. I'm showing you 3 different ways to paint stones. A worn stone road, a sun-baked desert, and a marble pedestal that would make Stan Lee proud. No airbrush, no fancy gear, just paint, glue and a little bit of controlled chaos. Alright, first up, the stone road. The base that turns a boring grey lump into something your minions actually want to stand on. I started by painting the whole thing a medium dark grey, a perfect starting point for all the weathering and highlights to come. Then I went in and added random patches, light grey, brown, a little green. Don't plan it, just go for it. Nature is random. I made this stone patch with a 3D printed texture roll. If you want them, the link is in the Discord. I even flicked on some few tiny splatters. It makes the stone feels natural, dirty, and random.
In my day, rocks just painted themselves over a few centuries.
Well, yeah, but I've got a video deadline, Joe. Once that's dry, I gave it a full dry brush with a light grey and white. This is to unify all colors and tone them down. And suddenly, all those edges and little cracks jump out. That's super satisfying. And then come the fun part, adding sand in the cracks. I mixed watered down PVA glue and dripped it into the gaps, then dumped sand across the whole thing to see what sticks. Once it dried, I tipped it over and dusted off the excess. Anything that didn't stick clearly didn't want to be here. Then I gave it a black wash. This part always looks like a disaster. It turns everything dark and grimy. But when it dries, it's pure magic.
You missed a spot.
It's called texture, Joe. I wanted to add some extra green in random patches to mimic moss. You can also add tufts if you want vegetation in the cracks. Or just leave it as it is, if you're happy with what you got. After that, I sealed the whole thing with a varnish, then dry brushed with light grey again to exaggerate the edges. And boom! The kind of path your miniature would actually pause to admire, before running off to fight monsters or something. Alright, let's heat things up. Welcome to the desert. That endless place where you drop a miniature and immediately declare it lost forever. I printed this base myself. You can buy this in bulk for pretty cheap, but hey, what's the point of having a printer if you're not going to overuse it? I covered the surface with PVA glue, dumped sand in different size all over it, and left it to dry. When that's set, I dripped watered down glue over the top again to really lock it in from all directions. This sand is staying there.
You gonna just stare at it while it dries?
Yeah, it's called supervising the process. Once that was dry, I primed it white and hit it with a base coat of Vallejo dark flesh tone, kind of a warm orange-brown. It's got that baked earth look, straight out of the bottle. I'm not sponsored by Vallejo, it's my Patreons who keep this channel alive. You are the best. Then I worked my way up with the lighter tones, half yellow, half bone white. Then pure bone white. Each layer just makes it dustier and more sun-beaten. And now for the real magic, pigment powder. I used Vallejo light yellow ochre and brushed it all over the cracks and raised bits. It gives that soft powdery look you can't fake with paint. Then I sealed it all with a little IPA mist that locks it all down and makes the powder lock in.
You should probably open a window.
No, that's the smell of progress. After I sealed everything with a matte varnish, I hit just the very top with very light yellow dry brushing. That little highlight makes it look like its sun's burning overhead. And that's it, a crispy desert base ready for your miniature to question why it's out there in the desert in the first place. You can glue some yellow tufts or maybe a cactus on the base if you feel extra spicy. Alright, time for something classy. We're making marble, baby! A pedestal fit for Stan Lee himself. And yeah, it may look fancy, but it's surprisingly easy. Let me show how you do it. Start with a clean white primer. Then mix black and white oil paint with a bit of mineral spirit to make it a soft grey. Grab an old battered brush and start dabbing all around in random spots. You don't want to cover all the whites, we are making layers here.
Layers? Looks like you're just smearing paint everywhere.
Nope, it's called strategic placement. Every random dab has its purpose.
Purpose, huh? So the chaos is planned?
Exactly. Control chaos. Very professional. Next, spray it lightly with IPA. Watch what happens. The paint spreads out in these beautiful natural blobs and veins. If a too big blob shows up, just soak it up with a brush. Go around the whole model and spray it until you like the effect. More on some parts and less on other parts. When it dries, you get a slightly crackled effect. That's the secret sauce. Then I mixed yellow ochre and white to make a light beige. And do the same thing again. Marble is all about layers. The more you build, the more depth you get. Add a layer of pure white to soften areas that feels too dark. That layering is what makes it look like it has history. Not bad for a base layer. Not bad at all. Okay, let's take this from okay to glorious. Once everything's dry, I suggest you spray a varnish over everything to have a little more fail-safe for the next part. I grab a tiny brush and start painting thin black cracks in random directions. Keep them uneven, real marbles messy. This is where you probably want a reference picture to make it easier for yourself. And if you mess up, just wipe it off with a Q-tip. You won't mess up anything under if you coat it with varnish. And because I can't resist a little flash, I added gold veins too.
Oh yes, nothing says fancy like gold.
Exactly, Stan Lee wouldn't have it any other way.
Real gold?
If my Patreon keeps growing, maybe next time. Let everything dry overnight. And for the final touch, I'll glaze over everything with a thin white to unify the colors and let it dry once again. Then seal it for the last time. Glossy varnish if you want it polished, or matte for that more natural look. From stone roads, to deserts, to marble pedestals, 3 completely different textures, all done with the same basic tools. Try this out, tweak them, make them your own. And if you do, tag me, I love seeing what people comes up with. Hit like and subscribe if you want more hobby chaos disguised as tutorials. Until next time, stay creative!